Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to RPGs We Love 3, presented by the RPG Valkyries. My name is Zoe Vermillion, and I am joined by MSKain here, running Secret of the Silver Blades any percent. So it's all yours.
All right, thank you. First thing we have to do is get our characters made. We had a number of naming incentives, but only one name was offered, so I'm naming my first character that. And otherwise, uh, I'm just going to give them easy to use and remember names here. I have been up for quite a while as I've been having later nights, so I'm a little tired, and I'm just going to go with things that are easy to do. So I have a ranger for some specific purposes. Otherwise, a few fighters, a cleric, and then a mixed class who's going to be doing a few things for us. Yes, this is my third run of the marathon at turning on the music. Right now you can hear there's no music. There's no sound. It isn't in this game. I can play background music based on the soundtrack, but yeah, if you want to get the money in to turn that on, I can actually activate it at any time, I guess. So if it hasn't officially been closed, you can do that, especially while I'm busy making characters anyway. The run hasn't even technically started yet.
I'll just leave it open. If it gets met, I'll let you know, but otherwise, it's going to sit there. It is currently 40 out of $98 to being met. So if you want to hear some music, $58 more dollars. That's all it takes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so normally I make my characters look different and everything, but I'm too tired to worry about that now too. We are on D Trooper. And now we need an elf, fighter, magic user, thief. Alignment doesn't really make much difference in the run. They're actually, I think, less than in the previous games. In the previous games, sometimes your alignment would affect certain reactions from certain NPCs, but this game is not a whole lot of whatever. So, Lawful Good is my preferred one, and it happens to be the first one you pick generally, so that's just what I go with, except for when I can't do Lawful Good, I'd rather just choose neutral. Okay, now I have to add these characters to the party. Vincentus was our first one. And now we've got them. So the first thing we're going to be doing is modifying our characters. The game allows you to, haven't done this in a little while in this game. Each of the gold box games are subtly different, and after having the last couple of days also run the other two games, it's a whole lot harder to remember exactly what the keyboard commands are. This one, before you actually had to use 7 and 1 on the number lock, the equivalent of home and end, I believe, on an old-fashioned keyboard to maneuver in the menus. Now I actually have to use the arrows. I could use the mouse as well, but it's actually slower and very much not used to it. Also, this game unfortunately bothers me because the previous two you had name shortcuts or letter shortcuts for pretty much every command. In the main setup menus, you can't, like the party creation screen, this screen here, they no longer have those shortcuts, so I have to use only enter. Just causes me a little bit of stress. So once again, they allow you to do this in all the gold box games because they want you to be able to make characters that are just like the ones you played as a kid. And I definitely played a lot of characters who had all 18s. You know, I always rolled all 18s for all my characters, so naturally that's what I want to play in the speed run, since it's a whole lot faster and better to have good stats, especially in old first edition AD&D, where if you didn't have a 17 or 18 in your stat, you were useless. You actually get no bonus until you reach a minimum of 15 in pretty much anything. Yep. They wanted to, long before they came up with feats and special abilities that fighters have in the later editions of AD&D, they couldn't do anything except for eventually extra attacks, so they created exceptional strength as a way for fighters to be better. So a fighter with high exceptional strength does significantly better than one without. Yeah, it is a very, very weird thing, but it's just primarily the only reason is because of that. So, okay, we've got our party set now. Vincentus, thank you to whoever donated to give us that $1 for our party leader. And the rest of us are just going to be troopers. So now I'm finally ready to get this show on the road. So here we go. Thank you, Mr. Devlin. All right. So after completing our previous two adventures, we haven't had a lot of great adventures. We're starting to grow bored, and then suddenly we are whisked across the sky to this great northern city of New Verdigris. Vertigan. Now I can't remember what it's called even. I'm so tired here. Oh, Verdigris is indeed what it is. I was right the first time. So they are this old mining town which was abandoned for a couple centuries, but now they've just started to go into it again. There are a lot of gem mines up here and stuff that are very lucrative, but now suddenly they've had a lot of troubles from things happening. And so they use this magic well that exists near the town's borders to summon us, but they were not smart enough to get our equipment as well. We are left without it. Once again, you can transfer characters between these games. You're intended to generally, but they didn't really want to code in specific magic items, so they stripped all your stuff between every game, at least until Pools of Darkness. So unfortunately, they only have a few pieces of equipment for us. Not a whole lot to offer. We could go buy some very cheap, bad, mundane equipment, but that's a waste of time. We're just going to deal with what they've given us here and go find some better equipment.
Hey, do you mind if I step in with a quick donation?
Sure.
We have $58 from Antidale, who says, yes, let's get some music going.
Okay.
So it's been met.
All right, let me check sound levels for that really quick. Looks like I can turn that up a little. Okay, so the game does not have, thank you very much for that donation. And as a quick explanation, SSI, who designed this game and made war games, they weren't really big on background music for games. They never gave it a lot of thought. But when they ported it to Japanese systems, all of these gold box games made it to at least some Japanese computers like the PC-80, such things. They did make music soundtracks for those because the Japanese were not going to have games without background music. So thanks to them, we have at least something we can pipe in. I've downloaded these for places where they're available. So let me get back into here. We need to make the game go as fast as possible. We actually get a difficulty slider too. We turn it to easiest difficulty because that halves the hit points of the monsters, has very little other effect in the game. But because the monsters has half as many hit points, they'll go down a lot more easily, and therefore it'll be a quicker game. Now we need to memorize spells with our characters. Once again, I am hitting everything wrong because I'm just not used to this game anymore. 2 haste spells, don't really care about charm monsters. And D-Trooper. Well, persons are semi-useful. 2 of those each, and some good healing spells so we can stay healed. Alright. Now, there are various teleporters that go to the well. This is the only one that's open right now, but basically everywhere in the game can go back to the well, which allows us to move around easily. First thing we need to do is come out here and see this fight between these mages and these priests. We let them duke it out and then deal with whoever's left over, which is the mages. This is better. D-Trooper can do nothing for now. You can, though. You can hold person some people, if we're lucky. Not quite. That's bad. He was casting, and I couldn't let him do that because the mages are very dangerous in this game, and unlike in the previous games I played, I don't get Dust of Disappearance to make myself immune, so I have to take care of them carefully. Now, we get a whole lot of good equipment from this. D-Trooper is going to want this Mace Banded Mail and Shield, another wand for E-Trooper. This plate is going to go to A-Trooper. Necklace will go to D-Trooper. And that's actually all the only good stuff for now. Trade that to C for the moment. The rest of the stuff is okay, but we'll just deal with what we've got for now. We'll be upgrading once again here in a minute. This is just enough to make us actually. The wand. He can't do much either, but that's okay. He can use his wands. So now we've seen the black circle are evil, so this will allow us to... actually, I want to go this way. Yes, teleport her back to town. Mayor talks to us again. But this allows us, by meeting the black circle, we now know that the black circle are evil. There's a black circle mage in town who sells magic items at this shop over here. And he is... the black circle is the primary antagonists in the game that are trying to release the Lich that we'll find out more about later on. And he's acting as a spy in the town, trying to make sure that the citizens don't interfere with their work. And once we start doing stuff, he's going to be coming after us. We don't want that. So now that we've met the black circle, we can take care of him pretty easily. But first we have to fight his guards. Whoops. I actually capitulated to them and left. And I should have cast my spell before that, but that's okay. E-Trooper. Hold on the guy with max hit points, that's good. Once again, if they get fully... characters that are paralyzed or in any way rendered helpless from a sleep spell or anything of the sort can be one-shot by any attack in the game. So at various points, the whole person spell can be pretty devastating, but we don't use it as much in this game because we're encountering higher level enemies that tend to become immune pretty quickly. Or not immune, but just so high in their saving throw they're unlikely to resist. So now that we've killed these guys, they actually have the loot that we want. Although I'll probably be using that anyway. And we're just going to drop these, because we're about to get more money than we really need. We no longer need money to train, so there's just a few items we can buy that are kind of useful. Now we've all got much better armor classes for the most part, except for our mage, thief, but he'll get better stuff later. We're going to fix up now. I should have cast some spells before this, but that's okay. We'll do it right before this battle. Now we get blasted by a symbol, which is why I wanted to be healed before this, and the mage leaves. So he gets away, but if we leave him alone... it would have been kind of bad for us. But normally you're not supposed to find out about this until late in the game, and then you figure out more about the Black Circle and eventually come after Marcus after he starts sending assassins in you in the street. But by taking care of this now, we're going to not have to worry about that. This is a group of assassins, and once they're dead, no more assassins will be coming after us. This is actually a semi-dangerous fight because they do have poison daggers, which can one-shot us. But that was taken care of easily. There's a lot of things in this game and in old-fashioned D&D in general that can one-shot you, so... Okay, we're going to go ahead and buy a wand of magic missiles for him, I think. Yes, I did get one. And now a bunch of magic arrows for use later. We don't have any bows at the moment, but we're going to get a couple of really powerful bows in time, so... putting together our piles. Like a lot of old games, you could only buy one item at a time, essentially, but at least the game allows you to switch those around very quickly. We'll buy some more arrows later, but for now, this is what we're going to go with. Oh, goodness. I know I've been up for a while, but I can't believe my voice has already failed this much. It's going to make this a very interesting early morning for me. Alright, the fix command will help us heal in a hurry. It effectively simulates casting all your healing spells and then resting to memorize what you cast over and over again, so... pretty handy quality of life change that was added in Curse of the Azure Bonds. Now that we have taken care of the Black Circle presence in town, we need to go liberate the well from the Red Dragon that took it over. So first we have to deal with the little red dragons. Which a Wand of Ice Storm is great for. Now, despite having only like 5 hit points, these little dragons are annoying because they have a -1 armor class, which is incredibly low. All dragons have the same armor class. They only gain hit points and power as they gain levels incredibly. They don't get their armor class lowered as they do in later editions of D&D, you know, just becoming more powerful in every conceivable way as they get older. That first Wand of Ice Storms they give us doesn't have too many charges on it, but... so you can't do anything for now. Okay, a couple of breath attacks. You need to move to a better place. Let's go ahead and use this other Wand of Ice Storm again. Alright, now the big dragon, who can be kind of dangerous, but he can only do 44 damage breaths, which still is pretty impressive. For the most part, damage is not reduced by being on a higher difficulty level, but because of the fact that dragons' breath attack is based on their maximum hit points, it does affect their damage. But as usual, we dealt with him without any trouble. Now we get better bracers, I believe, and our first composite longbow. Potions don't really matter all that much. Now the well helps us out. It's a sentient well. We can give it gems and it can answer questions for us, give us clues to figure things out. It's probably the way you figure out most of the things in this game. You have to do... this is an old school, you know, AD&D game, old DOS game. You had to pretty much do most of the sleuthing all by yourself. Keep notes yourself of anything you figured out that was interesting or necessary. So let's see, the next thing we're going to be doing is going to deal with the Black Circle's headquarters so they won't bother us in any other way. This is partially... it's semi-optional. I could skip this, but there are, most importantly, there's a lot of powerful magic items I can get if I go and take out their base. So one in particular that I can't really get anywhere else until near the end of the game that I want, that will be extremely useful to me. So we have to go through the ruins here of the old city. So this city, once a long time ago, was founded by 2 brother adventurers, a paladin and a mage, and they were great heroes. But over time, they, as they got older, the mage started, you know, having fears of mortality that some old people do, especially ones with power, and he didn't want to die, so he started investigating forbidden rituals to become a lich in order to extend his life. And his brother tried to stop him, and they were forced into a big battle. They raised up their different groups, his called the Legion, and the Paladin brother founded the Silver Blades to stop him, and eventually sealed the Lich, now called the Dreadlord, inside of the castle where that they had built together and ruled. I don't care if I get attacked, I need to be able to use my bow. Let's see. Because again, I need to be able to take out these mages, or damage them at least, before they are able to do anything to me. Okay. Might be... yeah, that's actually good. Okay, mage is all taken out, so this is now a much more... much less dangerous fight. Having the haste spell helps out a lot, though. Okay, so that was the first group of guards. Now we've got a second group of guards right here. Luckily you have a necklace. Necklace of missiles, same as we've used in our previous games. I'm not going to be multiplying them out, though, because they're enough... we're powerful enough just in melee and with bows and such that it's generally not worth the time. We're effective enough in combat, as you can see from the archer taking out 4 of them right like that. We actually still have the remnants of our haste spell on, which is why we were able to take care of so many so quickly. Alright, now we come into here in order to fight this guard captain. We're going to go ahead and use our second haste spell. Whoops. Well, that's actually fine. So whatever. Prayer. Our second prayer spell. I have 2 blesses anyway. Alright, we still have mages here that we need to take care of. This can be a very dangerous game if I let the mages get off their spells. The main reason I have a ranger is because rangers just have a base ability to give me more chances of surprise attacks, which gives me chances to also be able to move before the enemy and damage all the wizards before they get a chance to cast spells at us. Alright, we picked up a key from him right here, and then we have a portal. This will take us back to the well, allow us to fix up and memorize our spells, including those 2 haste spells we used. And actually, before I continue, I ought to go back and make sure that I can't train, because once again, leveling up isn't something that just happens in the field in this game. We have to visit a training hall to level up. In the previous 2 games, we also had to pay 1,000 gold. Luckily, these people are nice enough that they will train us without any pay, so pretty much we don't really need any money for the whole rest of the run. Okay, did I overlevel anyone? Doesn't look like it. Okay, good. But once again, we still have the same problem if you've seen previous games, that if I gain too much experience at once, and I could go up 2 levels, it will only let me go up 1 and then actually get rid of the rest of my experience, so I'm just shy of being able to level more. You can memorize more spells now, including a 5th level Cure Critical Wounds. Alright, back to the Black Circle hideout. That's the wonderful thing about these, about the well in this game, is that it serves as a waypoint to move quickly between areas as you advance. Shrieking alarm goes off. This is the council clerk Sasha, who there is an incentive to save her. About an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours into the run, we'll have the chance to do that. Because unfortunately she gets into a lot of trouble with these Black Circle mages and their men. Normally we abandon her because it's very slow, but if you want to us to do a heroic thing later on, get your donations in to do that.
And speaking of that incentive, just to give y'all an idea of what is needed to get it met, it is a $50 total incentive. We have $5 towards it, so 50 minus 5, 45 if my math is correct. So.
Yep. Okay. I actually want to go to this one down here first. Okay. Okay, good. Now, once you adjust her down to fighters, it's pretty easy. We can take damage from them, but we're not in a lot of great danger. Speaking of which, though, I need to upgrade my bracers. Yes? Good. That was a backstab. I don't do that very often. It's something you can do, but and I do have a thief, which mostly just for a couple of instances. I don't recall that I've ever backstabbed since I've started speedrunning this, despite having that's just. I usually don't have my mage meleeing though. Just acting slightly differently here. Let's. Oh, you have the necklace. Alright, once again, mage is taken care of. We can pretty much go ham with the rest of our guys. Alright, taking some damage, we're doing okay. Oh, there's another mage left. Unless I didn't quite kill him. Yeah, I didn't quite kill him. Several more fights here. As I say, it's kind of a lengthy, two holds right there. That's pretty crazy. Alright, that's it. So that's it for that group. We have 3 more fights against warriors left, I believe. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cast a haste spell here. This can be one of the slightly more dangerous areas because of just the positioning everybody's in. Alright. One nearly identical encounter. Still have our haste spell too, which is good. I was kind of hoping for that. Oh. Yeah, that's why mages are bad. I forgot about to check for the one in the corner there. Let's use these magic missiles on him to keep him down. That was probably a lot of damage. Might have to use some backup healing. Oh, you're the bone. Alright, so that's at least those fights. We should be okay, provided I'm careful with them. So now there's a large amount of hatchling pools. I'm not sure why they have all of these red dragon hatchlings here, but they do. I guess they're part of the force that they're raising. They're using fire giants and red dragons to melt the ice of the glacier to try and release their lord. So I guess technically they found a group of red dragons, borrowed them from Dragonlance maybe, because there's an awful lot of them here, and are raising them so that they can be used to release the Lich from the glacial castle. every step you take in this room, you get attacked by hatchlings, so you want to spend as little time in this place as you possibly can. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but it does build up over time. Especially when they all get to move before I do and use their dragon breath. Okay, now this is the final fight here in this dungeon, and then we're done with it. And yes, one more mage. Them. Okay, mage is all done. Good. And no. Well, actually, yes, I will, simply because your hit points are low enough. I'd rather not expose you. More combat than necessary. That was a good fireball, at least. And same with you. We're all taking hits, so good thing that we're done with this dungeon. Okay. Alright, we have some loots here that are very important. Let's see, we are looking at... Okay. E-Trooper needs the wand and bracers, and Vincentus is going to get the girdle for now. This gives him a 23 strength, so he is now enormously powerful. The amount of bonus damage he had doubled. This wand is lightning, which is less useful in most circumstances, but it has a few places where it's good. And hey, we get another portal back to the well. How convenient for us. Nope, I'm going the wrong way. Actually. Again, surprisingly, even though it was the third game in the series, they took out quite a lot of the semi-annoying realism in the previous games. If you tried to sleep in the street of a town, they would the city guard would come around and rouse you and make you go somewhere else. They didn't like you sleeping in the streets. But because we are the champions summoned to save the town of New Verdigris, they are absolutely willing to let us do anything we want to, including sleep in the streets. So the only thing they don't do is give us equipment for free, but that's okay. We don't really need that anyway, so I mostly buy things and all those arrows just to get rid of the money that I get. Okay, so now, that's why I wanted to come here before memorizing, so I could get new spells memorized. Alright, now, actually I want to stay in the town anyway. Now we need to go find a necessary MacGuffin. Just a quest item, which I can't remember where in the game it even tells you to look for it. It's totally separate from most things we have to worry about. Couldn't use that in quick combat. So we can't run from any encounters in the town out in the old city ruins, but they are pretty easy for the most part. No, that's the wrong way. Okay, now I know where I'm going. But these monsters are pretty quick to dispatch, especially on quick combat with very high speed here. Let's see, I want to go here now. Yes, this is the right way. Every time we get in a battle, the biggest threat of the random encounters is that they throw me off of where I'm at. This game, the other games I have pretty much memorized. I don't need to use maps for anything except for special bonus content. The Mole Master Beholder Core I haven't actually done regularly. But the places in this game are so expansive that I just haven't been able to memorize all of them yet. The well I actually have roughly memorized based on the coordinate system that they give you here on the map that you can see. But the ruins especially are so huge. This game did have a lot bigger maps. But again, a lot of the basic stuff, even though it's still here, sleeping in streets, you know, time of day affecting what shops are open, none of that matters anymore. Alright, so now we fight another red dragon here. Take care of him swiftly. We get, let's see, you need the longsword actually, and the plate mail, cloak as well. The ring is not very important though, right? Oh, it says actually semi-important. We want to give that to D-Trooper. This is a ring of invisibility. It's not as good as, and yes, those are both superior to what he had. Oh, and the cloak. We also find an amulet, and hey, a glowing gateway. Alright. So our next step is to go down and find the Temple of Tyr that was a base for the that was built up in the mines, a base for the Silver Blades. Alright, where am I? I am not where I thought I was again. Okay, we're in the northeast corner, not the northwest corner. It is a perfect square, so if I'm not paying too much attention to the directions or whatever, I can get lost. Okay, so I want to go ahead and cast a haste spell here, as well as my other buffs I always cast at the same time. And safety save, because we have to deal with some clerics here. And if those clerics are very unkind to us... Okay. Yeah. Put your bow back on. Okay. Clerics can use hold person spells to paralyze me, which will allow me to be one-shot, which is very, very dangerous. We don't want that. Certain places of the ruins are, of course, unstable, so there's a chance of rocks falling, similar to a random encounter, basically, the chance of it happening. Fall on top of me and damage me. These various arrows here have been pointed out just to help you if you're lost in the ruins without a map, because I have a map because the PDF of the clue book to the game is included as part of purchasing it from GOG.com, which is very handy to have. But if you don't have such a thing, you have to map it all out yourself or remember it perfectly, which is nearly impossible. So they're handy arrows in case, pointing you back to the safety of town. Alright, and just because of the sheer numbers of these guys, tossing a fireball or two at them helps you just thin the numbers a little more quickly. You can still play combat for all I care. That was the last necklace power, so I need to get a new necklace from somewhere. There are actually multiple necklaces in the game, but oh, you're a woman. Okay, they're taken care of now. I was going to cast a fireball, but totally not necessary now. So now we've entered the temple. It still has some power protecting it, and we're about to find the last of the silver blades here in the temple. So the first thing we're going to do is find this secret door, get this secret armory. One shield for you, one shield for you. Bracers don't matter otherwise. Potions, though, I think they're healing potions, aren't they? I have a bit of notes for all the good items. I think the top... I can't remember which of them are. We'll go ahead and take all three. I need to make a note of or remember which of those are healing potions and which are some other thing we don't want. Yeah, all we had are shields. Alright, so now we need to go talk to the cleric, who is still sealed down here, this old dwarf cleric. He tells us what we need to do to defeat the Dreadlord. In order to get into the castle, we have to collect 8 pieces of the Staff of Oswulf, the Paladin, and then we have to combine them together using his help. And so in order to find that MacGuffin, he gives us another MacGuffin, the Ring of Tyr, without which we can't find the pieces of the staff. So, and we're going to run home real quick to train, see if we can get any training done. Mostly, again, it's not that we need the levels right now so much as we need to make sure that we're all trained up so that, which, okay, fortunately I can't. It's always the case here. It's about halfway through the mine that I get enough experience to level, unfortunately. I'm always hoping I've gotten just enough to level first, though, because I end up losing a little bit of experience. Not a big deal. Back to the temple. So we have the Ring of Tyr. Now we need to descend into the mine, where conveniently, on the first 8 levels of the mine, there is a single piece of the staff in each one. So, this is the temple level. Next we'll go to the first level of the mines. Guide my maps. Okay. Alright, I am going the right way. Now, we can run from the encounters in the mines. Thankfully, we just take a step backwards and the encounter is gone. But there are a number of set encounters against Umber Hulks that we'll have to deal with. They're annoying. Umber Hulks have a paralyzed, or a confusing gaze, rather, that can make us do all sorts of random things, from run away in fear, sit there and cry, attack the monsters wildly, or attack our allies wildly. Luckily, like pretty much all special abilities in this game, the AI will not use them unless they have they start in range, which in this case is melee combat. Luckily, we run away from them. But it's still something we'll be hit with quite frequently, and it's very annoying. So we find our first group of treasure here. Here we have a Ring of Fire system we don't care about. Okay, long swords and shield, plate mail +3, another shield +3, and another composite longbow, which we're going to give to E-Trooper, actually. As well as those we'll give to C-Trooper, the ring we don't care about. Okay. Theoretically, I could give it to somebody. So they take a little less fire damage, but it's not that big of a deal. Need to get him some more arrows eventually. I have plenty of opportunity to. Let's see, what was I looking at? Okay, you can ditch these now. Does everybody have +2 shields now? I think C-Trooper didn't, but that is, he's mostly been using that anyway. So now everyone has at least +2 shields, which is good. Alright, so that's the first of the 8 pieces. You can also get random encounters of Umber Hulks, and those you cannot run from, so hopefully we won't see any extra Umber Hulks today. But what can you do if you get them? RNG and or luck, whatever you want to call it in these games, as it were. Lots of interesting creatures here, but because it's slow to fight them, we never really get to see them. Alright, for the second level I need to go west again, and this is why I brought a thief, to avoid the trapdoor. There are actually only 4 places in the game where I really need a thief, but 2 of them are on this level of the dungeon, and here they are extremely useful. That one's a minor time save if it goes off. Here's some more Umber Hulks. But the next one is very important, and I need to safety save because there was the gaze. Battle ended before anything bad could happen, though, so that's good. Your characters on quick combat will attack if the gaze confusion causes you to be effectively charmed. The game will make your auto characters attack them. Yes. Okay, good. I disarmed it. This is very important because this is a wand of fireball, very, very strong. The other things are not really all that necessary. I can take the Elixir of Youth just for kicks, because we actually get older whenever we cast the haste spell. It isn't that big of a deal, but if I actually abuse it too much and my characters get too old, they will lose stats. So yes, the game even keeps track of that. SSI went all out in making as many of the game rules of follow D&D as they could. And wonderful first edition AD&D, which has interesting peculiarities. Okay, now here I need to go north until a path opens east. Then I take that path down to the end. I'll need a safety save again, because I'm going to be fighting a horde of wyverns. Once again, just like in the previous two games, I've also had to deal with wyverns, and this time I can't be invisible. They're not that dangerous for damage-wise or whatever, but if they hit with their tails, they can instant kill me through their poisonous venom. So, but that's it. Okay, anything interesting here? Yes. D-Trooper gets a mace +4. Oh, and the Boots of Speed. I cannot forget that. You notice I'm piling everything on Vincentus. There's a couple of reasons for that. You might think I'd want to spread out all the stuff, but there's a couple of reasons why I put everything on him, which we'll get into mostly later. It's better to have all of this really good equipment consolidated for later use. Carrion crawlers. All they can do theoretically is paralyze, but with the way it works in this game, they can still instant kill somebody paralyzed effectively, so they are actually dangerous. Okay, we are on 3. Now we need to go to 4 to pick up the 4th piece of the staff. And here we're going south, which we are already facing conveniently. Alright, this path. Yes. No Umberhulks on this level, surprisingly. Okay, 4th level has a Ring of Protection +3 for our wizard, so finally he has an okay armor class. Yeah, that's actually totally correct. Away from the monsters. Okay, 4 down, now we're on to 5. 5, we go north. There's also all sorts of extra places we can go on these levels. More Umberhulks right here. But in a speedrun setting, of course, we don't want to do optional things. We are getting very bad luck with being gazed at and doing wild things there. But we haven't taken too much damage, which is good. Nothing here we really need. But we get our Staff of Oswulf. Alright, 6th level. This is where things are going to get interesting. We're about to meet our waifu Vala and add her to the party. She is an extremely useful NPC, unlike most that they give you in the course of these games. She is currently under ice or glass or something. So we are going to bash our way through this barricade here. Let's see. Now, you have a nice, nifty new wand to use. Which mostly we use just to clear out the numbers very quickly. The rest of you can still go to auto combat. We have to fight our way past several hordes of the lizard men. Oh yeah, fireballs is the one way down here. Luckily, casting the fireball spell from a wand has a very good range, so I get to toss these all the way down here. Not a great fireball, though. That's really weak for a wand. I should be safety... I think I have been, which is good. I usually don't, actually. But I do need to safety save a little bit because there's a very small chance that the snakes can also bite and poison me, which instant death from poison just is a very terrible fate. It's extremely difficult to deal with because you not only have to cure the poison, you also have to raise them from the dead because it kills. It's just pretty crazy. Alright, so we'll go ahead and cast... Yeah, I don't need it for anything else. I'll go ahead and cast my other haste spell here. Could have used it there, but oh, there. And since I'm doing that, might as well get those done too. So now we find the Lizardman King. So Vala, our don't have to worry about very much when I'm killing them all so quickly. Yeah. Take out some of the numbers in the back. Vala is also one of the Silver Blades, and somehow she got sealed in this glass cage, and the Ring of Tyr we get to use to break her out of it. It happens automatically, in fact, and we automatically add her to the party because she's going to be very useful. We also get to pick up another necklace for our cleric to use to help fireball things. We take a small amount of damage from the box bursting, but of course we let her join because she is super awesome. She is a 13th level fighter, which means she... I think at this level gets 2 attacks per turn, which is really crazy. A 3 Thaco, which is really insane as well. We're level 9 fighters, I believe. Yeah, so she's 4 levels above us. Because she is female, and this game is racist and sexist, she has a maximum of 1850 strength, but we're going to deal with that problem soon enough. She also comes with a super vital piece of equipment for the next section, the Silver Shield +3. Now, normally the game doesn't let you rob NPCs in this game. You can't take their equipment, but there is a special way around that we're going to take advantage of, which you'll see once I start my shenanigans for this run. Now we go to level 7. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I just need to look. Okay, need to go south here. Some more Umber Hulks. Let us just... Okay, no, don't need anything from them. I know that. Alright, need to go west. We're about to be attacked by more Umber Hulks, but first, what do we need here? Don't need that. Wands are good. The bottom 2, I believe, are the ones I want. The rest of this actually doesn't matter. Oh, 2 potions of extra healing are good, though. Let's have B-Trooper take some of those. Now we get attacked by more Umber Hulks, particularly not the largest group, but a couple more than we've had to deal with thus far. And now we get a piece of the Staff of Oswulf. That's 7. We only have 1 more to go. Alright. So now we get to encounter, guess what? Yep, more Umber Hulks. Alright. Now we find the remains of Oswolf, the last piece of the staff, and some really awesome stuff. This banded mail. Oh, well, no, that's not that much of a problem. I wasn't supposed to give the banded mail to Vala, but it's not actually a big deal. As I say, you can give things to party members, but you can't take them back, but there is a way around that, so I'm not actually... I was worried for a brief second, but then I remembered, no, it's okay. It'll be okay. So that'll just make Vala a little less squishy coming forward, which is good, because her hit points aren't as great as they could be. Because she didn't get to modify herself, even though she has most of the stats she needs, she didn't get to get maximum high-level hit points like we did. Okay, now before we can't go down to level 9, however, because the Black Circle has set up some sort of teleporter shield that prevents anybody from reaching the 9th level or below, and we need to reach the 10th level so we can go into the crevices towards the dungeon to reach the castle. Have to go through several more areas. Here are some more Umber Hulks. So we have to find a teleporter that will very conveniently teleport us down to the 9th level on the other side of the teleporter shield so that we can bust it and move on. This is the last thing we need to do in the mines, effectively, so... unfortunately, it's going to cause us some problems, but we'll just have to deal with that. Gonna safety save because this is going to get bad. Because it's a malfunctioning teleporter, so we take a large amount of damage getting thrown against a wall, and then get attacked by a large amount of Umber Hulks. Let's see, you can quick combat, you can quick combat. E-Trooper, I don't want you to quick combat. I want you using some of your awesome wands. I only hit 2 of them with that, that's unfortunate. You step back here, so you will be targeted. And you, actually, let's use some Necklace of Missiles to further take care of their hit points. A-Trooper Kanata. Let's see. Oh, hit 2, but oh well. Oops. I'm not used to not targeting my own characters. Oh well, we're okay. A little low on hit points, but we're almost done with the battles here, and then we'll get to go rest, so we're actually perfectly fine. Okay, so these are the monsters that are guarding the teleporter. Gargoyles and gargoyles. And with that, we destroyed the barrier, so now we can go to any level. So the first place we want to go is the temple level. 2 reasons. Number 1, we have to go find the dwarf again. Durf, I think, is actually his name, believe it or not. And he will now reconstruct the staff with the pieces we got. There's also a reunion between him and Vala. Yes, his name is Durf. I was able to read it there. And now we need to go back home. In order to train up and do some shenanigans to set us up for the rest of the game. Vala is already ready to increase to level 14, incredibly. Doesn't really matter, I don't use any of its higher level spells. Alright, so... Are they... No, we're fine in experience. Alright, so that's good. Alright, so here is this vault where you can store items. You notice that there's an item here. I accidentally put this in a while ago and I haven't been able to get rid of it. Not sure how, but it actually stores items between your adventures. But another thing that you can do is that you can actually deposit items here from anyone, including from your NPCs. So the fact that Vala, I accidentally gave that to her, is not a problem. Oh. I'll have her go ahead and take those so that she can drop them later. I was trying to drop it, but I deposited it because that's the thing instead. You can drop now. Trade that to myself to stick it there. Yes, that is what I want. Yes, and trade that to him. Just to more easily set this up here. Okay, these are my 5 special items. These items are so good, I want everyone to have them. Except for the mage, the banded male. That's the one exception, including Vala. So, we stole Vala's silver shield from her because of that, using this glitch, but that's okay. It's for a good cause, and it's not going to be that much of a problem. So now we're going to save the game. And now we're going to remove E-Trooper from the party to make room for A. A is a special character. We're going to go to Vincentus and trade these 5 wonderful items to Vincentus. And then we're going to remove Vincentus from the party, or A from the party, rather. And now we need to drop the rest of the party. Load up our A save again. Remove E-Trooper from the party again. Add A back to the party, and look, A has these 5 wonderful items. Remove A from the party. Save the game as A. Add A back to the party. Elias and Olive Ruskettle are not in this game. Interestingly, Curse of the Azure Bonds was the only game that involved that storyline. So that is the only one where you encounter those characters. Otherwise, even in Pool of Darkness, where all the other characters you met in all the previous games help you out at various circumstances, and or you have to help them out, none of the characters from Curse return who were in the original Azure Bonds novel. I guess they couldn't get the licensing for it again or something. Kind of a weird situation. A little bit sad too, because I really liked Elias and Dragonbait, and yes, even little annoying Olive, who was useless as a actually helping you out at all. But yeah, the rest of the games have nothing to do with any of the regular novels. Okay. Alright, so now I have 4 of everything. I need 3 more girdles, 2 more cloaks, because I have a 5th one of those. 2 more banded males is all I need. And 3 more boots. I appreciate that, Red. Okay, let's see. 1 more silver shield, was it? 1 more boots. 1 more girdle. Okay, so 2 banded mails, 3 shields, 3 boots, 3 girdles, 2 cloaks. Okay, that is sufficient. Alright. So especially since I've already run these games, only Pool of Radiance got ported to the NES. The others were ported to Japanese PCs, which is where the soundtrack comes from. But I guess Pool of Radiance on the NES did not do well enough to port any of the others. Just gonna transfer everything to a couple of the characters and let it go from there. Okay, now I can remove A. So since this is the 3rd run of this series that I've done this marathon so far, you probably know the gist of how this works. But this is just a neat little manipulation. Why do I have another longsword? I wonder what that one is. Oh well. Okay, I already have a cloak, so cloak and girdle. Okay, we get to trade each of these items to Vala as well, but by putting a character in the pool outside of the regular save game character slots, they are unaffected by me loading games. So doing this, I get to multiply my equipment as many times as I need to. Okay, boots, boots, boots. Silver shield, silver shield, cloak. Okay, he has a silver shield, banded mail, girdle, girdle, cloak boots, girdle. Indeed. Don't need the gauntlets anymore, don't need the banded mail anymore, don't need the shield anymore. Cloak, boots, silver, banded, girdle. Cloak to you. Okay, cloak, girdle, shield, boots, don't need that shield. Ring and bracers. Okay, so yes, with that we are set. And actually, need to take these off, put my longsword on, and same with Sea Trooper as well, because we're going to be fighting a bunch of Medusa coming up. And basilisks as well, who can stone us with gazes, or turn us to stone rather. We want to avoid that fate. But the silver shields, in addition to providing the combat ability of shields, also provide protection as if we were holding a silver mirror. So we're immune to the gazes of Medusa and basilisks, and in fact, if they try to use it on us, which they will at the beginning of every combat round, it'll be reflected and they have a chance to turn themselves to stone if they don't make their saving throw. And we are going to be fighting a lot of these, which is why it's very important to steal this silver shield from Vala. Now, we don't actually do anything on the 9th level. All we need to do is teleport to the 9th level so that we could destroy the aversion shield, barrier shield, and attack these guys. Okay, so do you have your necklace equipped? No. So everybody just auto-combat, charge, and destroy the enemy. I do need to do safety saves because there are a bunch of enemies with poison that can one-shot us. The cockatrices can turn us to stone by hitting us, and we want to avoid all of these fates, naturally. And you can just see how Vala wrecks people. So since we all have girdles of giant strength, it doesn't really matter that if we're male, female, or whatever now. So I actually can conceivably have a more focused female party in this game, because it still would be not ideal for the first hour-ish, but once I get past this point, if I'd gotten enough names, I was considering making actually making an entirely female party just because it's something I never get to do in these games. It's back in the 70s when they were constructing this system, because AD&D does go back to the late 70s. Original D&D, of course, basic D&D as eventually it's called, even earlier than that, early 70s. But they were hyper-scientific and realistic about things, and they said that, yes, it is a proven fact that, men are physically stronger than women are, and we can't refute this. It's why, it is part of our society no matter what. But they didn't do anything to counterbalance that, so it was just really silly. Yeah. Later editions of D&D, of course, and it's actually hilarious because I think it's an answer to that if you play Baldur's Gate in the character creation screen, when you're first choosing your gender, it says choose your gender. Men and women are in the realms are equal, and neither gender is in any way a detriment to pursuing any thing. So it's just a bit of an answer to that. Yep, exactly, and that's how the original rules were designed. But considering it's fantasy anyway, and there are so many fantasy tales where women fight a lot more than they do in reality on the front lines and such things. They are, it's definitely more in line with that it's okay, but... Yes, first edition did all sorts of, had all sorts of little weird rules about things. Especially like dealing with water and electricity was a particular thing. Certain types of armor were less resistant to certain attacks, like monsters that might have an electrical melee attack would attack you at a lower armor class if you were wearing metal armor because the electricity would conduct it. Things like that, yes. There is to a degree. Always hilarious when these Medusa just stone themselves. Yes, they actually, yeah, that was the Forgotten Realms Time of Troubles, wasn't it? Which actually they worked into Baldur's Gate. But effectively, the Time of Troubles was the transition period for the Forgotten Realms when the gods were forced by the High Elder to walk on the world of, on Faerun and the rest of the world. I can never remember the name of the world, I just remember the continent of Faerun. But the gods were forced to walk as semi-mortals, and it let them shake up the whole mythology of the Forgotten Realms and basically explained the change from first edition to second edition rules. I'm not sure if they did others for second to third or later on like that, but I know at least that was interwoven there. Okay, we're done with the mine and into the dungeon. So now there are 3 more MacGuffins we have to collect on this dungeon, which, again, you know nothing about unless you explore everything and talk to all these Gynosphinxes that are around that will do stuff for you. Now, we have one more pretty dangerous little battle here against some Driders and Medusa. They can cast lightning bolts at us, but luckily we dealt with them pretty easily. Another fight against some mages here. I'm going to have you cast a fireball and hopefully it'll go off. Good, good, good. So I can damage all these guys. Hopefully the Driders don't resist. They do have a small amount of magic resistance. Looks like 1 resisted. Not a big deal. Okay, and now we're going to start having some real fun. Vincentus is going to no longer be up front. Instead, he is going to take this fine longbow and turn into an archer. And I can go back to archery with you as well. I need to get some more arrows soon, but that's okay. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and do that now because I just gained a lot of experience. I need to level again. Hopefully I'll be able to level again. I might not actually be able to. We'll find out. But I'll buy some more arrows too. This is going to be my last shopping trip. The other thing I need to do is take Vincentus and put him towards the back now, since he's going to be an archer. Now this fine longbow is non-magical, but it allows you to use your strength bonus. Normally when you use ranged weapons, you use your dexterity as your bonus to hit instead of your strength, which is how you affect chance to hit with melee. But you also get to... Okay, nobody has levels, that's sad, but I'll get some arrows now. I'm going to exit so I can get rid of that little error. Once I start doing shenanigans, it sometimes messes up the thing slightly. So, let's see. You can barely have room for any more arrows. Whoops. He can't afford that. Good. That's actually good. Oh. I've lost my train of thought again. It doesn't matter. Okay, we don't really need our money for anything else at all. Oh golly, yeah, he has no room. Need to get that from somebody. He won't be using his bow quite as much, but I want to have some arrows. Alright, 200 arrows each, that's probably enough. Except on the mage, but he won't be using it as much. Now the question, can I remember which teleporter I had? Yes, indeed, for the third time this marathon. Okay, this is not the one. It's this one then. I am playing the third of the original Gold Box series, Secret of the Silver Blades. So we go through the dungeon here, we have to answer all these riddles. You feel it, you never saw it, and you never will. What is it? Your heart. So you have to either choose to fight monsters or choose to answer the riddle. If I answer the riddle wrong, I get teleported to the well, and then the well offers to tell me the answer in exchange for gems. Or I can just remember what they all are. First we have to deal with some pyrohydras. Okay, you can quit combat now. You can quit combat. Why don't we just have you quit combat for most of these fights as well? Use your bow up. Yes, you can quit combat as well. You cannot quit combat because it isn't magical enough. But yeah, normally ranged weapons, you can't use your strength bonus, but with a, you just do damage of your bonuses from your magic weapon. But with the fine longbow, I get to add my giant strength bonus to each of the arrows and attack twice per round, so it's extremely devastating to them. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I keep thinking there's something more to do on this level, but there isn't. There's more stuff I could do, but I don't want to. 2 little words, you must keep it after giving it. What is it? Your word. Okay, this level, again, has nothing important. Amazingly, there are no random encounters on the in the dungeon. Lies a feather, but you can't hold it for 10 minutes. It is your breath. Optional dungeon off to the right there, but I don't want to go doing it, having anything to do with that. Yay, more Umber Hulks. You thought we were done with Umber Hulks? Joke's on you. We're almost done with Umber Hulks, so I think that might be finally the last Umber Hulks. So we found our first key, the brass key. We need these 3 keys to get through the final castle area, and again, we know nothing about them unless we go exploring everywhere. And while we're in this dungeon, it's really crazy the amount of exploring you would have to do just to know what you're supposed to be doing in this game. There's so many of these incredibly obscure MacGuffins you need, and you don't even see them in your inventory. One word, has a mouth but does not speak, a bed but never sleeps. It's a river. I wish, right now I have a bed but I cannot sleep. Alright, next level. This is another battle one we have to do. Oh, nope, we have one more battle against Umber Hulks. I really honestly think this is our last Umber Hulk fight. I'm really hoping so. Okay. That's the only battle on this level, though, at least that I have to fight. One word runs smoother than any rhyme, loves to fall but cannot climb. It is water. Now this one is right here. Oh yeah, this is the easiest level of all, and I never remember it perfectly. Okay, you break it if you even name it. That is silence. We have one more riddle, I believe. And then the madman gets tired of riddles and just tries to kill us, but fails to do so. Okay, and I believe I need to get my second key here. Like, right here. Yep, silver key. Good. 12-headed pyrohydra. These are hydras with 12 heads each. They don't have that many in their picture, of course, but... I believe that, yes, the RPG Valkyries have a YouTube channel, and they are uploading these VODs to YouTube as well. So you can go back and watch all the previous runs. Does the silver key have anything interesting? Oh, the bracers. Oh, another necklace, too. Yes, that's good. Another necklace I'll want for the future here. And slightly better bracers. The wand isn't much, though. Passes before the sun and makes no shadow. What is it? Wind. There is one more riddle after this, then, because that's not the last one. I know what the last one is. Not the level I thought this was. Whoops. Oh yeah. Now I know where I'm at. We get to encounter our one Gynosphinx who, for whatever reason, is in the way. We parlay and give her money simply so that we can avoid fighting her because that's slow. She gives us advice on the keys that we already found. And with all this wonderful stuff, we cleave through most of our enemies without any trouble whatsoever. Now this is a slightly dangerous area, because if you step into that room, you get 2 big, long encounters. You feed it, it lives. You give it something to drink, it dies. That is a fire, and that is the final riddle. If you got all the riddles correct, congratulations, you don't win anything at all, but you can feel very proud of yourself for figuring out actually pretty tricky little riddles. Dispatching these guards without any trouble today. Now, instead of a riddle, the madman tries to scream us to death. We take some sonic damage, we attack the image to make it go away, and that's the last we see of the madman. This part of the dungeon is very cold and wet. It's also the last level of the dungeon, but we have some dangerous fights coming up ahead against more mages, which is very unfortunate. Luckily, our cleric here gets to use this necklace. Oh, I gave the other necklace to the wrong person. That's okay, I hardly use this one, so boom, get to take care of all those mages. Very nice. Now we can quick combat again. More guards. The fire giants are, of course, immune to fireballs, which is inconvenient for us, but the mages were not. That's what we really needed to hit. Alright. Oh. And I had almost forgotten we need to get our third key. Should have safety saved because purple worms can one-shot us by swallowing us whole. Small chance, but it can happen, and then we'll need to reload a safety save. Luckily, did not happen. We appreciate it. Always happy to have those. I haven't let you say anything about that, so if you can probably take a few moments to read donations and say a bit about that if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a donation that came in, $5 from Red Silvers, who says, couldn't do a lot, but wanted to help as I could. Looking forward to seeing friends at RPG Limit Break. Well, thank you so much, Red Silvers, and I hope to see you there. And then as for, the event itself, the RPG Valkyries, and there are lovely hosts here. They're an inclusive group of female and femme-leaning speedrunners who all love and run RPGs. If you'd like to join their Discord, please use !Discord for the link in chat. The Discord is open to all people in all genders, so do not worry.
Alright, thank you. So we have our last battle here against more purple worms. There's an interesting little encounter you get right before that, where some giants are running down the hall towards you, and you get the chance to attack them, but if you wait, you realize they're just running away from the worms, and so they just run past you. So you can avoid that. So with that, we are done here and moving into the eastern crevices, which this is actually, yes, this is the cutoff point for saving the Flan clerk, Sasha. So has that been met?
Unfortunately, no, that was not met.
Okay, so poor Sasha will have to live to be once again carried away captive by the Black Circle. Maybe next time we'll be able to save her. And that's her screams echoing from the east. We're going to be hearing that for a while. Just to make everybody feel bad for not meeting that donation incentive. Oh yeah. Weird thing with the monster encounters here. As you progress in the game, for the most part, the encounters get harder to avoid. And they are extremely odd at this point. If I try to flee from the monsters, instead of taking a step back, the monsters are still chasing me, but I can avoid being caught by not moving directly into them. It's kind of a weird little situation, but especially if I'm on corners, it means that very little, I don't have to worry much about it. And if I get anything that has a secondary condition, it gets rid of the monsters magically. Like my ranger saved me from the further encounters there because he noticed some tracks. And because that triggered an event, the random encounter that was triggered to be following me was turned off. And so you can see they're following me, but they'll never catch me unless I run into them, and I just get another chance to run away. If I'm in a very long straightaway, there's another screen much closer than before. Too bad we're going to ignore it. Then it can be slow because every step I take, they're going to catch me, like they will right here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and back off because that'll get rid of them. And here, whoops, that is not what I wanted. Oh well, I guess we'll just deal with this because I haven't saved in a little while. Not a super bad encounter, just a small waste of time. The cursor starts default on attack, so this is just something that happens. We're going to have many ref encounters here, so I definitely don't want to get into too many random ones. That was our last really big straightaway. Well, except, okay, this was our last big straightaway. So now none of our encounters are going to be bad as long as I don't take them. We're about to have a set encounter, however. Are any of these wizards already casting? No, good. He's a fighter who started out. That's interesting. I need to find out who has that other necklace and give it to my cleric before I forget. Very useful to have that on the cleric who can rush forward immediately and zap some wizards so they can't cast at me. I really need to use up this wand of magic missiles as well. Just to clear out my inventory space. You can auto-combat now. You can auto-combat now. And you can still auto-combat too, actually. Okay, that's that group of fighters done. We're just gonna leave, not bother interrogating the fighter because we don't need to know about it. Let's see. Yeah, I gave to him. So to D-Trooper. Alright, now we have a double attack by Frost Giants, first of all. So these Frost Giants live in this Glacier Mountains area, and unfortunately for them, their home is being threatened because the Black Circle are melting the glacier out. So, being a generally evil race anyway, they aren't prone to listening to much reason, so they saw that little people were leading this charge, and they see that we're little people as well, and they immediately assume that we're with the Black Circle and they attack us. Unfortunately for us, no sooner have we dealt with the giants and their pet mammoths, all those pet mammoths, but immediately the Black Circle comes upon us from behind. So... yeah, that's fine, I can be there. Oh no. 64 rando, huh? Crazy. Let's see if we don't care about them following us. Okay, now we've started the descent, as it were, because we keep heading to the south slightly. That's because I have an equal nephew who is a big fan of my Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays I've been doing mostly for his mother, my sister. And, I just imagine my own nephew getting into Chrono Trigger that way, maybe soon in another year or so. Okay, now we get to go home and train, and this is where we're going to have too much experience. Mine are good. Fun fact, normally when I speedrun this, I name most of the characters after my 4 nephews and my niece. So I'm a big fan of all my here's if it's how old, mine is 6 now. The one that I primarily deal with. I have a 7-year-old one, a 6-year-old one, a 4 and 3-year-old one, and my niece is also 3. Okay. So that was all my level ups, and yes, I have enough experience to level again if I gain 1 more experience point. So we need to memorize our spells. I now get the heal spell, which is heal almost to full health spell. You actually roll 1d4 if you use the heal spell, and it sets you that many hit points down from your maximum. Pretty interesting way to make it work. Okay. So now we need to gain 1 more point of experience. The fastest way to do that is to go into town and rest for days on end, because eventually monsters are going to wake us up and attack us. Eventually. I swear, they really will. There we go. Why not? This is actually a brilliant place to use a Wand of Lightning. Yep, it is definitely a lot harder for the younger generation to see the charm of some of these older games. As I say, my 6-year-old nephew is especially fond of my Kingdom Hearts playthroughs. He loves the Kingdom Hearts series, but he doesn't watch many of my speedruns, especially not my Gold Box ones, because they're the boring games. A bit too old for him. Until I had an idea that I wanted to use him for a couch assistant if I speedran this at RPG Limit Break, and all of a sudden with the power of personal investment, they're not boring anymore, and he wants to start watching them. Okay, now with that, we all got to level up again. It's important to get these level ups because 1 more level and my characters will be attacking twice per round instead of 3 times every 2 rounds. So that's, yeah. That's one of the things that happens to it. So let's see. Otherwise, do we need anything else? Any more spells to memorize? D-Trooper might actually have some. Yes, actually. A new hold person, a new prayer, and another heal. Okay, get all that ready. Alright, so now it's time to deal with the Frost Giants. Now, unfortunately, the Frost Giants are so unbelievably angry at us, we have to fight our way into their village and wipe out most of them. We will have a happy ending here, though, but for now, there's just going to be a lot of Frost Giants slaughtering.
Well, while we're doing that Frost Giant slaughtering, can I hop in with a quick donation? I am tired, too. Oof.
Go for it. I'm just going to be doing a lot of Frost Giant fighting for the next little bit, so you got time.
Alright, great, thanks. Well, we have a donation from the user Yakin, Y-A-K-N, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I do apologize. They donate $30, which is just a simple comment. Have a good time. So I think that's good advice for everybody. So hope you're having a good time, MSKain. I know I am.
Yep. When the first schedule came out for this game, or for this marathon, I had only this game in it, and that was fine. And then suddenly, about 2 weeks before it started, they asked if I could fill in for a dropped run on Tuesday for Curse of the Agabon, so I was like, okay. And then over the weekend, or actually no, on Monday, while I was in the middle of watching the stream, they're like, hey, we're an hour ahead, can you fit in Pool of Radiance as well? So I was like, okay. So I went from having 1 run in to all 3 of my gold boxes, one after another. So, but I'm definitely having fun with that. So this is actually a pretty well-defended little area here. We have to bash our way through several doors and then fight more giants in the meantime. Let's see. But yeah, it's just more and more frost giants who aren't particularly dangerous at all, just mostly annoying because of the sheer amount of hit points they have and the sheer number of them we have to fight. Now we have to bash our way through this door. We went through that one pretty quickly. If we didn't have so much giant strength, this would be even harder and longer to get through. I'm not even sure what Shivers is. I don't know if I've heard of that one. This fireball wand is still going. I'm kind of surprised. Can't remember what those other two wands I even have are. I haven't used my wands so much. I might need to go identify them. Luckily, you don't need to identify equipment to use it, but sometimes it helps to know. So we have about, I want to say, 2 more battles with frost giants here. Okay, that wand is done, so I guess I can use some more lightning. If it's in the genre, there's definitely a chance of getting accepted. Loom was accepted, of course, and I would not call Loom an RPG, but it is a story that is RPG adjacent enough that I feel it's fine including it. So yeah, those kinds of things are. Somebody mentioned one of the King's quests earlier. That would also, I think, be close enough to be a worthy submission as well if somebody were to offer it. 2 more fights against giants here. As well as possibly random encounters, but hopefully we won't get any. Oh yay, that guy did go running off somewhere weird. Final battle against these frost giants. This music here? Yeah. Let's see. Oh yes. Actually, what I want to do is use my incredible boots of speed to run over here and use this wand of lightning. Place where I can hit a line. Okay, Wounded Guard retreats to the west. So that's it for them. E-Trooper's getting kind of low. I need D-Trooper to go ahead and buff him up with a heal spell. Get him topped back up. I'll be going back home soon enough here. Now I also want to, right before coming into here, I want to go ahead and get another haste spell out. As well as a bless and a prayer. Okay, we talked with the guard, with the king after we've slaughtered all his troops, and he's like, okay, if you're really not with the enemy, will you help us against them? And we're like, yeah, totally. So this will, this is one of those few occasions in a speedrun like this where doing the quest of helping the people out is actually a whole lot faster. We have to fight 2 more big fights here to be done with the frost giants, but once that happens, not only will we get a whole bunch of treasure from them and everything else, but they'll also escort us through their town instantly, so I can go back and forth after doing leveling and such. So it's a win-win for me, because as far as the speedrun is concerned, being able to instantly travel from one end of the village to the other is definitely a boon. I don't care if I can't explore it anymore. Second follow-up fight. Let's use this necklace to blast us some wizards. Okay, I've used up my wand of magic missiles, which is nice. Alright, so that's it for the giants. Now we get all this treasure. Is any of it worth anything? Longsword and shield are +4, so actually, yeah, we want A to take those. All 3 potions are extra healing as well, which might be okay to take with you. +4 plate is only as good as my +5 banded mail, though, and is actually worse because it's slower. So I obviously don't need all these long swords. Although actually that's a long sword versus giants, at least it should be if I didn't throw the wrong one away, so. Does double damage to giants, which is still really valuable because I'm fighting a lot of them. We want to go to the dungeon first so that we can level up again. Actually, I believe that I'm just a few experience short of leveling, so I need to go back again if I can remember. Whoops. Get my level 11 mages, but that's it. Level 13 cleric. Can't remember where that thing was. Okay, not this one. Oh, this is the 7 one. Yep. You want to go through the village? Yes. So I need to get just a little bit more experience to reach my level 13s. That is not what I want to get it, though. Castle Guard's attack is the worst possible encounter you can really get. Let me find my reload here. That is the one music in the game, is when you first load up a game. So this area now, we cannot run from random encounters. This is the set encounter, and this is what I wanted to see for now. Okay, used up that wand. I cannot remember what these other wands are, so I'm just going to shoot for now. I really do need to memorize those. I have no wands equipped, actually, either. Okay. Now we go back to level. Let me double check that. Yes, that is enough. Remoraz Burster. Remoraz are fine. Humans are far and away the most dangerous thing to encounter at this point in the game. Alright, now we are really prepared for advancement. Level 13 fighters let us do 2 attacks per round in melee, which is a 33% damage increase, very strong at this point in the game. Alright. Haste and Fireball. Ice Storm doesn't matter really. Cone of Cold, I never use those spells, but have them just in case. Okay, we've got all our spells memorized. We're now level 13, and now we're into the final areas of the game. This is a massive, massive area, and that leads to the very final area, the castle, where we can finally confront the Dreadlord and defeat him for Oswulf's sake. And once again, monsters like Remoraz are perfectly fine. I need to put his bow back on. They can swallow us whole, but they're pretty easy to kill and don't usually get turns. Some of them, the humans are a lot more dangerous. We can fight wizards. They have very low armor class, a lot of hit points comparatively. They're just a pain. Luckily, the encounter rate isn't as bad as a couple of the worst places in Curse of the Azure Bonds. Castle guards are the big nope. I'm generally okay even with regular groups of little fighters, which we'll encounter when it says monsters, but when it says castle guards, that's your big groups of powerful human enemies. Many fighters as well as mages. This is also a bit too beefy and big of a random encounter. I think the biggest problem with that, at least that I have personally with my own Curse of the Azure Bonds run, is that there are many segments of the game where I have to save and reload many times, quite often, because of random encounters. It's just faster, and it's rather annoying. But one of the nice things about Curse of the Azure about Secret of Silver Blades is this is the only area in the game where I really feel compelled to reload from random encounters, and only some of the time. Many of them, like those fights against Hydras and Remoraz, we just burned through them so quickly we're like, whatever. Okay, this is definitely a place where I need to use a Necklace of Missiles to prevent them from casting. Yes, indeed. Excellent. Okay, I have no idea what wand this is. I think it's Ice Storm. I'm gonna bank on it being Ice Storm. I'm good. Ah, Blast. That's not good, though. He can't use a bow if there is an enemy in melee with him, so I was trying to wait until the battle was over. Okay, there we go. Or until the round was over. I had him delay so that I could use one of my characters to get rid of that guy so we could use his bow again, but it backfired. Because before the end of the turn, another enemy moved into the way. That'll be so there. Alright, let's use this one, which is lightning. Hit those two. I only got two there, would have been better to use. Hold on. Alright, go back to quick. Okay, that's that group done. This is another set encounter, which is why I had to take it. No, Cloud giants come in too big of groups with too many other monsters. Okay, whatever, I'm gonna take it. I want to use up this wand of ice storms though too. Not a great fight, but not bad enough to do another reload, especially when I've already been doing several. This game, they also made it a little bit better in encounters, preventing other encounters for a little bit. Oftentimes in Curse of the Azure Bonds, encounters will come on the heels of each other, or in certain weird guaranteed spots, based on my saving and reloading. Castle Guards attack right after my save, nicely. And again, there's only one random encounter in the very final area of the game, and once you get it, you won't get it anymore. So conveniently, once... Am I going to? White dragons are actually easy. Hydra is perfectly good. We're close enough to a wall and being able to hit him. I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Yeah, that would be enough. I don't like this position. But I can take care of the wizards easily enough with more lightning bolts. Perfect. Okay. We got this. Which way am I going, even? I think this way, isn't it? Nope, I'm going the other way right now. Ah, yes. This goes to another teleporter, which I don't want to bother taking. Remoraz, that's fine. Super easy. Earthquake rolls through. The ice groans around us. Technically, that's also a random encounter. Castle guards. No, thank you. Okay, set encounter here we have to do here. This is a very mean one because you can run away from this random encounter, and then when you come back later, they're melting monsters that have been frozen in the glacier along with everything else here. And so if you come back later, they've thawed out the monsters, and you have to fight them as well as all the rest of the guys you're already fighting. Made that mistake before in runs thinking that it was a random encounter I could get away from. Very foolish of me. I love it. Just punch him. Oops. I always love encounters on the tile as event, same tile as event tiles, or right after them. Okay, red dragons come flying across here. There are 3 of them, so they are moderately dangerous because they can do a lot of breath damage. But luckily we got to go first this time, so it didn't take any damage from these ones. Castle guards, no. Oh well. Castle guards are just trying to keep us on schedule. How many castle guards is that in a row within 5 steps? That was like the 4th, wasn't it? So about time to begin one of the fun counting games. Count how many times before the castle guards actually let us through. Hey, I made it 3 steps. Hey! Clear again. Save again. One of the nice things about this game, for the most part, we don't have to worry about RNG really messing badly with the run. We just have to worry about RNG being very annoying. Okay, quick double fight we have to deal with here. That wand is gone, but I've got more wands. White dragons are not immune to ice, believe it or not. I just blew up white dragons with a ice storm wand. First edition AD&D did a lot of things that were, you know, semi-realistic, tried to do that, but immunities were a little bit hit or miss. There are a lot of monsters that have immunities, and there are a lot of monsters that would have immunities in later editions of D&D that for some reason don't have them. Dragons are not immune to their own breath attacks, which is, frankly, silly. Hellhounds are not immune to fire. Even Ifriti, which are literally genies that are on fire, are resistant but not immune to magical fire. That's kind of funny. They didn't have room to put them right in the wall where we are because one of the interesting things about maps in this game is that they are actually tied to local geography. Even though theoretically, since each square takes up just a like 4x4 space here. This is true, this is a valid point, but anyway, yeah, even though they occupy these squares, if you have set encounters that are supposed to be like just beyond one of these next squares, they won't join the fight. You'll get another immediately fight afterwards. Monsters spring from the earth after you take a step, effectively. Castle guards, that's a big no. Glad I just saved. We're almost through, though, actually. We are... This is it, in fact. Okay, we're all done. Well, not totally guaranteed, but mostly done. Okay. Bless and prayer. Before this big double fight here, Cloud Giants first. We're used to Cloud Giants. Look at Vala just take out 4 dragons like that. She is my girl. Such a useful NPC you get to add to the party. But now we have more Black Circle mages and such, so hopefully we'll get to go with our archers or somebody before the mages. Nope. Hold monsters. Woo! We got real lucky there. We resisted the hold monsters. Okay, that was very good. Now we get to Necklace Fireball them. All right. Save the game because I can get an encounter, like right after this. Alright, so now he is going to... I need to make sure not to give it to Vala or else I waste time. Silver Shield and Longsword to A Trooper. And so now I've got this +5 Silver Longsword and Shield. I would really like it if my party had access to that, so we're going to do some more shenanigans really fast. It's time to bring in our good buddy A again. And have him hold on to our stuff for us so that we can give everybody a chance to use this awesome stuff. We're just trying to be fair, you know. Okay, let's go ahead and drop that sword. Yeah, we're all going to be using the +5. Drop that shield, so therefore he has a little bit more room. Okay, save the game as A. Add A back in. View A Trooper. Alright, so that gives us each 4 of that, so we need 2 more swords and 3 more shields. Alright, shield to Vincentus, shield to Sea Trooper, silver shield to Vala, silver longsword to Vala, silver to Vincentus, and E Trooper, A, he has his now, B, D a shield, C a sword, E a sword and shield. Okay, so everybody should now have silver sword and shield +5. Safety Trooper can't use a sword, so let's see. You take the bow off for now because we're going to be dealing with more Medusa, which is one of the reasons why we need to do this again. Of course, I did have the previous ones, but the longsword +5 is also very important for being able to hit some of the enemies that we have here. And it's easier than tracking down other ones in other places. Oh, he's got wands. Use those instead. Okay. You're all done with your necklace of missiles, unfortunately. Oh well, we'll just have to go with other things instead. I do need to remember that he's invisible, though. Okay. The Spirit of Oswulf blesses us as we pass. Now, I don't think I have enough experience to really warrant doing much of anything. I do want to go home to rest, though, actually. So probably, yes, I do want to go not into this first one. Okay, here's the random encounter. We attacked the Medusa. She tried to get us to sign some sort of note so that we would swear ourselves over to the Dreadlord, but we didn't buy it. Alright, so now that was the random encounter. If I didn't have to go home, which actually maybe I shouldn't need to, oh well, it's too late, or even just back to the well to heal up and stuff, this would be a okay place to... I could avoid this area and skip these two fights, not that they're dangerous. Okay, I need to get my haste spell back. I have 3 haste spells, so that's actually useful. I didn't even think about that, but I have 3 blesses and hastes and prayers, which helps out. Don't have enough, as I say, enough experience to level, so there. Again, more Medusa and Basilisks, but that doesn't really matter when we all have silver shields. Yeah, basically something like that. I can't remember the exact details of it, but you have options to sign it or look it over or whatever. The easiest thing to do is just attack the Medusa. She vanishes and summons a bunch of friends. We deal with them. Okay, and with that, there are no more random encounters in the, as I mentioned, in the rest of the castle. So now we take the teleporter and the stairs up to the 2nd level. 2nd level, we're going to see if our thief actually is able to do his job properly. Hey, he disabled the trap safely. He's 3 for 3 today. Oh, and the last one, he blew it. Too bad. He was doing so well. We speak this password of Steel Eye. I can't even remember how you're supposed to learn this normally, but if you have a guidebook, it tells you that Steel Eye is the password so you can avoid fighting golems. This magic mouth here appears and tells you that the password is Fool, but it's still Steel Eye. Then we go through the secret door, and hey, we're on the very last level. This is the final level of the game. The Dreadlord's Sanctum. I think I actually can... Nope. I thought I might be able to rest safely here. That is not the case. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to deal with the damage that I've got. Luckily, I have a lot of potions if I take too much damage in some of these fights. Okay, first of all, we let the Lich attack first. It's an image of the Lich. Now we have this field, we bash our way through it. If you try to pick the lock or do something else funky, it messes up. It does damage to you. There are weird ways to deal with all this stuff. And so now we have to use the first of our keys. We use the silver one first. Now he asks who we are, and we say we are Oswolf, and he allows us to pass. We gain experience for lying and saying that we're his brother, even though we aren't. But we have been blessed by his spirit, so I guess kind of we are in proxy. Our first of 3, there are 5 fights remaining. 2 of them are insignificant. This is one of the 3 most dangerous ones, so we're going to cast our haste, bless, and prayer. Ouch, nasty slay living spell. He is invisible, so you can come around back here and attack them. Let's see. Yeah, actually that'll work. Good. That worked fine. Okay, D-Troopers, we're still okay pretty much on hit points. Okay, now we have to do, I believe, the gold key. If you try to put the wrong key in, you get attacked by monsters. Monsters spring out of the lock somehow. Okay, now it's against his personal bodyguard, so this is our next very dangerous fight. Let's see. Okay, do we have any more Medusa left? We have 1. Okay. Way over there. So actually, I can go to here. I should be out of range of the Medusa's gaze, and I can shoot the cleric. Prevent him from casting spells. Alright. And you... There we go. Medusa dead. Now we can shoot arrows at the clerics, which is a little easier. Oh, God, I love it when Vala just goes crazy. Splat, 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 splat. Okay, last keyhole. Which one have we used yet? Oh, it's brass. It gives you the option to pick the lock. You don't want to do that. So, super massive hydras. We don't care. You punch him to death. Without a weapon, you can one-shot that guy. I think we still have haste on, too, so we do get multiple attacks. Alright, here we are, the Dreadlord fight. Penultimate fight in the game. Let's get us as healed as we possibly can. So let's do our heal spells. Cure critical wounds. Vala is now fully healed. He was only down 1. It's funny. Okay, that's all our heal spells. Cast 1 more Bless and Prayer. 1 more Haste. This is a super dangerous fight because the Lich is very powerful. He can't be targeted by spells. All of his giants here can throw out spells as well. I can't even target him with arrows. He's already casting. That's great. Actually, because of that... Okay, Okay, that will get rid of his turn. Luckily, because of the haste spell, I have a 48 movement, so I can run all the way over here. And take off my bow, my sword. Once I damage him, he cannot cast spells anymore. Oh dear. Jeez, they're getting off before I can get my mage. That's bad. Multiple hold persons. Okay, this is definitely rough. All I have is this because they damaged me already. Can't reach that far. Well, you're already held, so pretty much done. So sorry, you're gonna take some frost damage. And you're already held. Might have to reload this fight. This is not going well. I'm glad he threw at the person who's already paralyzed. Okay, took care of the Dreadlord. More old persons on Vala this time. That's okay. We should be okay at this point, actually. Oh. Alright, that's it. 2 of our characters down. The cleric is down, unfortunately. So cleric can't get the cleric back up. Oh, unconscious. Way up there is where they put the statuses in a different place. But the game isn't over yet because we still have to find and destroy his phylactery. Well, as it happens, we found a secret door to the north. So come in here, we explore the room. And guarding his phylactery are a bunch of golems, and you guessed it, Medusa. Guess what? How much we care about Medusae? The answer is not at all. Yeah, everybody's got their melee weapons equipped, it seems, anyway, so... With our silver shields, we reflect it. He does not. There. The Iron Golems are pretty tough, but this is the reason why I multiplied out our longswords +5, because some of us only had +2. And with that, we've destroyed the phylactery. As the battle winds down, the gem is shattered. A translucent spirit rises from the shards. You can tell that it no longer has the taint of a lich. As it floats upward, a second spirit appears through the wall. You recognize it as Oswulf's, the guardian at the castle gate, near the ceiling, and the two meet and embrace. Oswulf looks down upon you and whispers, "My brother's soul has been freed by your efforts. His madness is gone, and we go to a better place. Thank you," and the two pass through the ceiling and are gone. That's the end of the game. Note that the cold is completely gone from the area. A gate begins to glow in the northwest corner. That's it. Now, it's a very anticlimactic ending, because now we can go through the portal. And that was the last teleporter. So I can take the portal back to town. And the mayor says, "You've done all we wished you would. You will be heroes here forever. Join the celebration. Stay in town as long as you'd like. The people will celebrate until you leave for your next adventure." So if we try to go into these houses, the building is empty. The shopkeeper and most of the townsmen are out dancing in the street. The temple is empty. They're dancing in the street. We can't train because the training master is dancing in the street. Occasionally people run up. We run into the pub. A wild party is going on. Drinks pour freely. You wake with an aching head in the mayor's house. We literally can't do anything because the people are too busy partying. Let's go to the... go see the well. Brave warriors, you have defeated the Dreadlord and saved the Forgotten Realms from his evil depredations. Your fame shall live forever in Elminster's chronicles. The well is nothing further for you. A powerful force pushes you out of the well area. Try a few more things here. We can go down to the temple and talk to Durf. The old cleric heals you when you enter the room. "How goes the war?" he asks. When you tell him, he grumbles, "Well then, get back out there." So much for him congratulating us on a job well done.
He's just a party pooper.
Is indeed. Let's try to go back home. Let's rest for a day and then try and go back home and see if the people at least will return to business as usual. I didn't need to rest for that many days, but whatever. Trying to make Are they still partying out in the street? No, they are not. So now we could actually train up and do other things. Actually, I can probably train quite a bit, can't I? Level 12 Thief, level 13 Ranger, level 14 Fighter, 14 Cleric, 14 Fighter, whoops, 14 Fighter. Vala can't train yet. So that's it. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. There's a flag set that we're done. We can transfer these characters into the final game, Pool of Darkness, if we want to. But all of the celebrations and stuff, there's no credits or anything. It's just it. I can go around and continue adventuring and exploring now if I like, get some more levels and things and loot. But pretty much the whole of the game is finished. Like with music, SSI didn't think that we needed a lot of post-game congratulations for winning or whatever. The one with the cleanest ending is Curse of the Azure Bonds, which has the "You have won" victory sequence final text and then takes you to this party formation screen so that you can save your game and remove your characters and move on. But I guess that's all I really have. We're definitely ahead of schedule. Once again, the estimate was first set when I was using DOSBox on a slower speed before the community agreed to up it, so this went pretty slow and still finished way under estimate, so I'm not sure what you... I'm pretty sure our next... I don't know if our next people are going to be ready to...
I am reaching out to Keishara and the next runner just to see if we want to go ahead and move on or if we need to find another time. So if you have things you want to say to people, go for it. I'm going to do some typing.
That's pretty much it for me. I've been not quite as able to communicate as much as I'd like because I've been up for so long. I've been tired. But if anybody else has any questions about the run or anything I was doing, if you want to go ahead and ask them, I'll be happy to answer them. Sometimes I can get off and explain a lot about the game while I'm running it, but I also get into long periods of concentration where I'm not able to communicate much. Again, especially when I'm so tired and doing my third run in as many days of this of the Gold Box series. So, but otherwise, that's pretty much it. People have sometimes asked about Pool of Darkness, if I plan to run that. If those who are familiar with the Gold Box series, I don't think I'll ever get around to Pool of Darkness because it's a super large, intimidating, and highly difficult game, and I've never actually even finished it casually, so I don't know what the odds are of being able to actually get a speed run of it, especially considering its size. It's probably 5-6 hours at best, but I do plan to move on to some of the other Gold Box games like Savage Frontier or Dragonlance, especially since work has already been done on the first of the Dragonlance series, so eventually into that.
We're getting a little bit of movement in the Discord here, so we'll know what's happening here in just a moment. But while we're waiting, I'm just going to go ahead and read this thing that the Valks have so graciously asked me to do while I'm doing a hosting shift. So you are currently watching RPGs We Love 3, the annual RPG Valkyries fundraising marathon. All donations accepted during the marathon will go directly to the RPG Valkyries to pay for accommodations, airfare, and necessary additional expenses such as food at RPG Limit Break, taxes, etc. Any leftover funds will be donated directly to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is a selected charity for RPG Limit Break. And when we started this week, we had a donation goal of 3,000. We have shattered that, so a Valk can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe everything past that 3,000 is going to Nami. So thanks, and keep up the great donations. There's a lot of great stuff coming.
Yep, we just preview some of the stuff coming up ahead. We have, once they're all finished, the good professor should be running Terra Enigma Magirock %, a part of the... I am trying to remember. Yes, Terra Enigma. God, in my sleep-deprived state, I'm trying to remember which one that is. Terra Enigma is one of the Quintet action RPGs for the Illusion of Gaia and Soul Blazer, which they had the randomizer race earlier the past evening. So that's the run coming up. And then after that, Final Fantasy VI. And there are some bid wars going on. Nobody has yet named the character for Terranigma, so if you want to get another character named, it'll be done during a very long 5-hour run. Get your donations in for that now, and then afterwards we have a whole lot of donations still open for Final Fantasy VI. Lots of characters to name. You can help determine the fate of Sid. Looks like he's living right now, but you can change that if you don't. If you'd rather want to see the scene of him being starved to death instead, or many of those other things as well. Okay, looks like they are getting their checks ready for the next run, so I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to my outro screen, and you'll get to listen to some more of this music for a while until they're ready to take it away from me.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the run.
Yeah.
And thanks everyone for watching. And I will be back later in the week as a runner instead of a host. This is my last hosting shift, but it's always great to help out the Valks with whatever I can. So I will see y'all early tomorrow morning. Final Fantasy 3. Come watch it.
Alrighty.